What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Ben Thomas Show. Thanks for coming back. Guys, I'm going to combine a video today because I don't want to make two, but let's be honest, the Return of the Jedi Han Solo blogger photos just went up, and it's creating a little bit of controversy within the community, especially with regards to the face. So we're going to talk about that, but also the Dark Empire, Luke Skywalker, that artisan version and sculpted version is also now here. So guys, let's stick around. Let's talk about these figures. If you like the video, hit the like button, smash the subscribe if you're new to the Ben Thomas Show, and let's get into it.
I give you Ben Thomas Showtime. Here we go.
Okay guys, welcome back. So I want to talk about this Han Solo first because it's the most recent of the news. And these are blogger photos. I've actually covered these two figures already in previous figure preview videos, especially when they went up for solicitation. But now we get the chance to kind of see what the final pictures look like. And some of us love blogger photos. Some of us are kind of lukewarm on blogger photos. I'm somewhere in between, definitely neutral. Sometimes I feel like they absolutely nail it. And other times I feel like, I still gotta kind of wait to see what the in-hand looks like from some of those early reviewers, right? And I think this figure falls somewhere in between for me. When I initially saw these photos go up today, the first photos I saw were of him without the jacket on, and I immediately went, oh, is that a Bespin Han? And then I realized, no, it's the Return of the Jedi blogger photos. But I gotta say, I think this is a better likeness than the prototype actually offered. I do think that this is an improvement. Now, I've seen some of the criticism with regards to the forehead wrinkles. You know, the guy could hold a credit card in those slots, unfortunately, right? But every time I look at photos of Harrison Ford, especially from that era, he's got a pretty wrinkly forehead, even within that film, as you can see from some of these screenshots. So I don't actually think that that represents poor likeness. If anything, it might just be part of the way our mind remembers Harrison Ford in those early days. Now, what I don't love is the hairline. Now, because this is a sculpted look, unfortunately with the sculpted hair, it doesn't give any kind of flow over the forehead, like you see with some of these other photos. I don't think that it's the wrinkles that make it look like he's got a 5 head. I actually just think that it would have been good to have a little bit more hair up front. But again, in terms of the likeness, I definitely see Harrison Ford here. Now, the expression does pigeonhole you just a little bit, right? He's got kind of that sad, mopey, sympathetic look to him, which isn't bad. I could definitely see where they've drawn some inspiration, especially from some of the scenes that he has in the film, but it also kind of means that you can't use this in a great action pose, for example. He's much more sympathetic, looks like he's in the middle of a heartfelt conversation or a concerned feel, as opposed to that actiony, dynamic look for a Harrison Ford that maybe some of us want, especially if you have intentions to use this sculpt maybe in other places, such as Indiana Jones, a younger version, or something along those lines. So for that, I think that's a knock on this figure, but we knew what we were getting into if you put the pre-order dollars in. So I think if you put the pre-order dollars in, I would be surprised if most of you didn't actually feel pretty excited about this once we get it in hand. And I do think some of those in-hand videos we're going to see from some of the early unboxings are going to really, tell the tale of how we actually feel. And of course, it's always better when you get it in your own collection, in your own hands, because then you're going to fall in love. Now, this gives me a lot of excitement though, because I feel like they've really dialed in the Harrison Ford likeness. So are we going to see a younger Indiana Jones version? Are we going to get that Bespin Han that people have been waiting for forever? Are they going to go back and start revisiting, for the 50th year anniversary, maybe the New Hope line? Maybe we'll get a New Hope Han at some point, alongside maybe a Farm Boy Luke 2.0 or something along those lines, right? We'll see how it goes, but for now, I'd be really excited for an Empire Strikes Back Han, just because that's the majority of my Star Wars display is the Empire Strikes Back film. I've got the Chewbacca coming from that film as well, and so I want the Han to go along with that particular Chewbacca. But for this, I'm pretty happy with this. I actually think that they even reduced some of the volume in the hair sculpt, which I think is a huge win as well there, because originally I felt like it looked too voluminous, even though it was a little bit closer to what we saw from the Return of the Jedi versus some of his earlier iterations where his hair is a little bit flatter. Otherwise, I think this figure turned out great. I love that with this figure, they also gave us those upgraded, really detailed hand sculpts. I really hope to see Hot Toys continue doing that in the future. You know, I got my recent John Wick 4 figure, and you heard me be critical of the fact that the hands on that figure looks like PlayStation 2 graphics. Like, they're so low res that it takes away some of the immersion from having these figures in that 6 scale shrunken down representation in your display. With detail like hand detail, it just elevates it to another level. So while I understand there's going to be some more costs associated with that for Hot Toys to do this, freaking let's get excited about it. If you guys like the way it looks, celebrate it so that Hot Toys hears the community be vocal, because I think it's going to start really elevating figures to the next level as we go forward. The outfit, I think, looks great. The tailoring really looks good. I have virtually no other complaints with this figure at all. And to be honest, I don't even really have any complaints with the figure sculpt, other than the fact that I think it would have been great to see a little bit more hair up front, just to make him look a little bit less like he's got a 5 head. But otherwise, I think the expression's on point. I think the paint apps are on point. The tailoring's on point. If I had this in my pre-order basket and this was on the way, I'd be freaking excited. So I'm excited for you guys if you got this one on the way. Now let's talk about this Luke Skywalker, this Dark Empire Luke. And of course, this was another artisan option as well as a sculpted option. In my opinion, I'm blown away by the artisan figure hair here, at least from the blogger photos. I like how they've got it kind of flattened down. I think this might actually be the best Luke Skywalker likeness we've had, if I'm being fully honest. Maybe the Mando Luke would have been kind of a close second. This really looks good, and to be honest, he's kind of that age in which I'm thinking, maybe a Farm Boy Luke 2.0 at some point, maybe, right? Like, it would be sweet to see it. I think they've dialed this in a lot, and for Mark Hamill, for some reason, he's just got one of those faces that Hot Toys has traditionally had a really hard time nailing. So yeah, this is Mark Hamill. I definitely see it here, which is funny because it's not even from a film representation of the character, right? But who cares, because this looks good. Now, I actually do like the sculpted less on this one. It's not that it's bad by any stretch, and I think the paint applications are good. It just looks a little plasticky in terms of a hair sculpt, especially when I look at the hair sculpt for the Harrison Ford that really has some light detailing in it and stuff. This one looks a little more chunky in terms of hair, and maybe that's just because I've now got Artisan to compare it to directly, so obviously it's going to break that immersion for me a little bit, but I still definitely think there's room for both. If you're not in love with having to style your hair on your figures or futz the hair, then the sculpted still is absolutely no slouch, and this is a great representation. Again, this was a wait and see for other Luke Skywalkers for me. I didn't put the pre-order dollars on either of these two options because I truly am waiting for the next one that fits my own display a little bit better. But again, I still think that this is a huge win for Hot Toys this week, and even though blogger photos are sometimes kind of hit and miss, this still ramped up my excitement quite a bit. The outfit for the Luke Skywalker, I mean, this isn't Hot Toys' issue at this point, right? I mean, he's basically wearing a Darth Vader, cod piece, which is really large and really, like, you really see it when you look at this figure, which I think is kind of funny, but that's a design from the books, and that's not a Hot Toys piece. So have they nailed the look of it based on what I've seen from the representations of the art? Then I would say yes. I think this is a great figure option. But which one did you end up going with? Did you go with the artisan? Did you go with the sculpted? Neither? Is there another representation of Luke that you're hoping that we see now, especially if they're kind of dialing in that likeness? I'd be curious to see which ones you guys want most from either Han or from Luke. But let's be honest, this is a great week to be an OG Star Wars collector because both of these men are iconic. Both of them truly represent the heart of Star Wars and what inspired my love for that franchise. So it's cool to see them in the same week, and I'm overly excited for it. So guys, I'm going to keep it short today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you also critical of the Harrison Ford likeness? Maybe I'm out to lunch. Maybe I'm seeing it differently. What do you also think about this Dark Empire Luke? Do you have the fear of missing out now that you've seen it come to fruition and you see just how good the sculpt actually looks? Do you wish you'd got in on it? Or are you just hoping for the next one? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But if you liked the video, hit the like button, smash the subscribe if you're new to the Ben Thomas Show, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Wow, what a great audience. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Because subscribing makes you feel good.
Where shall I go? What shall I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
It's gone. It's all gone.